Hi there. I'm going to be making a short video series on how to establish a MERN stack application. It won't be building a complete application. It's more just creating the skeleton and making sure everything's connected so that you can then build an application from it. This does presume you have some experience with React, Express, MongoDB, and GitHub. I won't be going into great detail about what everything is. Of course, you can still follow along. You can always pause the screen at any point in the code to, if you need to copy that part or if you're, having a hard time understanding a bit. I guess you can always look up details on that functionality or method or whatever. All right, so with that said, let's begin with GitHub. We're going to want to make sure we create a new repository. So going over to GitHub, go to your repositories. Again, assumes you have a GitHub account. You can do this without connecting it to GitHub, of course, but I'm going to imagine you want to save the work in GitHub. Let's just name this MERN since it will be a MERN stack. I'm going to make mine private. You can always switch it to public later. Of course, if you're making this as a repository you want to show off, you might as well just make it public. I'm going to add a README just because it makes cloning it slightly easier because it's not empty when it starts. All right, so now we have a new repository. Let's grab its URL here and let's make sure we clone it. So we could clone it with the, when you first open up a window, there's like, hey, do you want to clone something? But we can also use the commands. Let's move over to desktop. Let's create a new new folder. AMK directory MERN. All right, cd MERN. All right, nothing in there. Git clone and my URL. And we're cloning MERN. It might make a MERN folder in this MERN folder actually. It does. Okay, well I'm in MERN now. All right, let's move over to the MERN folder, and code space dot will open up a new window in that folder. All right, so initialized originally as a .git folder, which is probably hidden on your side, and a README which contains the title of the the repository. So let's begin with making sure that we can push work to GitHub. Make sure that connection is established. So this will be a MERN stack application. Let's be thorough. All right, so there we have a change. We notice here there's not an untracked change, it's a modified file, right? Let's do this all with our terminal commands. We'll watch it change in our source control, but over here, let's git add. We could manually write readme.md. You can also just, add everything. We only have one file, so that moves it from the changes to stage changes. So it's getting ready to send the changes of that file to GitHub. We have to make sure we add a commit message with this. So readme update. It's a very meaningful update, and we will push. And I'm just going to push it to head. I'm not going to bother with branches and stuff like that. I'm just always going to be pushing it to head. Not going to be worrying about making branches and merging them in and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, so we pushed it over. This doesn't auto update, but if I refresh it manually, we now have our little push. All right, so our local and our remote are now connected. All right, let's build our server. Just to give a little overview on what we're going to be doing, we have to build a server, right? We have to connect our server to Mongo. We have to build a front end, so a React environment. We have to connect our front end to our server, and at that point, it's just a playground of making endpoints and routes and whatnot. So I'll pause this recording here so that we can move on to the back end portion.